Alrighty, welcome. It's end of here, the weekend video, and I'm going to go through the markets. As I said before, this is the same thing. If you keep watching this, if you're new, you just hang around and you'll figure out what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm going to start in the FX markets and then move over to stocks and precious metals and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is Euro dollar 4 hour. Here is the general consensus of what I'm general outlook for euro dollar over the next while. I've been counting this 1-2 pattern off the high. It's still actually, if we go to the daily count here, it's still undetermined whether this B wave is complete at the January high. If it's complete at the January high, or if we get a continuation into a triangle. If that's the case, then we will head sideways for presumably another 6 or 8 months or so. Anyway, for the moment, I'm going to stick with the idea that we've topped in a failed C wave, let's say, but that's open to interpretation, and we'll see how that goes. Here's that C wave here. We've got a reasonable move lower so far. 122 down to 117. It's taken a while. That's kind of why I mentioned the triangle there for wave B, because this could still develop into a triangle. So then if this is a D wave decline, it's not going to be as impulsive as, let's say, a normal 5-wave pattern would be. Okay, so anyway, if we're going to work with a 1-2 pattern here, then we would probably have a series of 1-2s, and we're heading down into a third wave. So I've got a minimum target for wave 3. This would be wave 3 in blue here. The minimum target for that has already been met. So that lay at 118.50, let's say, where wave 1 and wave 3 reach 100%. I'm more favoring the 115 area, so that would be at the previous 4th wave. So yeah, I would have expected at least a break of that at 115, or that's about 115.99, so call it 116. At least a break into the 115s in wave 3. As you can see, that's where we'd get to 162% of wave 1. And with room below that again. If we go to the short-term count, you'll see why I mentioned that. Okay, so here's the hourly chart here. You can see that we've got a 1-2. If this is third wave 3 down in blue, we've got a wave 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 3. So this week's trade was mostly lower. We've had it's hard to call it an acceleration because we haven't really had any pickup in momentum. It's just been a consistent kind of drag to the downside. But we are still trending down in a trend channel. We are fitting the pattern for the moment anyway. And if this pattern is correct, then we should continue to head lower in a larger wave 3 in blue here for the next probably next couple of weeks anyway. So let's see how that goes next week. I'd still like to see this trend channel hold. If we get any sort of a pushback above that trend channel line again, we'll probably have it. Actually, it might require moving back to the larger triangle B wave, if you remember what I showed you there on the daily count. So far, we're heading down a third wave. We've had nothing to kind of dispel that idea just yet. So let's see if we can head lower next week. In terms of fib targets for wave 3 in gray here, we haven't even hit the 100%. 117.35 is where wave 3 in gray would hit 100% of wave 1 in gray. Although I would like to see somewhere down around 115.70 or so. So that'll be where we hit the 162% fib target. So anyway, next week, further down, let's see if we can hold in the trend channel. Let's go for the 4-hour in pound dollar. Here is the alternate idea again shown for a triangle wave 4. At the moment, you can see that we've had a reasonable three-wave pattern lower. I don't think we're finished on this just yet. As you can see, well, you'll see in the short-term count why I think that anyway. I would expect, even in the alternate count, I would expect a fall down in towards this kind of oscillation level there, the 134, 133 area. That's kind of been the long-term oscillation level of this. If we go into the daily count here, you can see that that's kind of where the market has kind of spun around, and that would kind of be the upper end of it, really. I mean, if we were going to go smack dead center, it'd be down somewhere around 131. So you would expect the first move down in a D wave to head towards that 131 level. Okay, so the 4-hour count again, you can see I've shown that alternate idea here. So we've got 3 waves down in D, and then we'll probably get 3 waves up in E, complete wave 4. Okay, so go to the hourly count here. I'll get you down here. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, maybe 1, 2, maybe 5 waves down here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down in 1, and maybe another second wave underway right now. So this could be a 1, 2, 1, 2 pattern. I figure if we get a push back towards 140 again, I'll probably switch to the alternate count, and we will look for 3 waves down in A, 3 waves up in B, and then wave C down again. In terms of that triangle. But for next week, same thing with Eurodollar. I want to keep the downside bias. I want to keep this trend channel going. I want to see some acceleration down in wave 3. Okay, so here is dollar yen 4-hour. The target has been up around this 162% extension. We've got about 110.80. We're pushing towards that. We've got a 4th wave complete, I think, and we're probably into that 5th wave now. I was saying that this week that if we got a break above 109.30, that would probably signal that the wave 5 was underway. So we've got a little bit more upside. In terms of the pattern, we do have 5 waves up complete to finish a 3rd wave. So that'll be wave 3. Wave 3. We'll go back to the hourly count, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So we have 5 waves up within this 3rd wave here. So the structure is complete. I don't know if the target is there yet. So let's see on the hourly count what I'm talking about. Wave 3 is actually in blue here on the hourly count. You can see where we had this corrective sideways move over the last couple of weeks, and we were tracking basically a series of 4th waves. So wave 4 and 5 of 3, and now wave 4 of a larger wave 3. So we've got wave 4 done in green there, and now we're heading higher in wave 5, and it's sticking to the let's say the preferred structure or the preferred outcome. So next week, I think we'll be looking for a top in dollar yen, and again, preferably up around that 110.80 level. That'll kind of give us a little bit of a stronger argument for a longer term kind of bull turn in the dollar. For the moment, early next week, I want to see, let's say, the top of wave 3 hold there at the 109.40 level. Let's see if the price can hold above that, and we can complete 5 waves up in wave 5 in green. I think that's about as much as we can expect for next week. And when we fulfill that, then we'll start looking lower again. We'll probably head back down towards that 108 level again in wave 4. So I'll put that wave 4 in now. Now, the wave 3 and 4. So this shelf here at about 108.40 should hold. It'll be the previous fourth wave low, so it should hold the correction in wave 4, and then we head up into wave 5. Okay, next week, further upside towards the top in dollar yen, I think. Okay, the stocks have rebounded nicely yesterday, today. We're kind of still hanging in the air here a little bit. In terms of the larger pattern, there's room. We can't deny the fact that the recent decline can easily be counted as a 3-wave decline. And if that's the case, then maybe this 5th wave here is going to, this 3rd, 4th, and 5th wave here is going to contract even further in towards a top. And we get a further elongated type of ending diagonal pattern again in wave 5 in blue. I don't like that, but the market's going to do what the market's going to do. It doesn't really care what I think, to be honest. People are going to do what they're going to do. If they want to bid it up into that upper trend line again before we crash, so be it. For the moment, I'll go into the short-term count, and I'll show you where I stand on that one this evening anyway. A possible, you see, we have a clear 5 waves down here, a pretty darn clear 5 waves down here in wave 1. And you can see, here's where I stand on this. We have an initial move up in wave A. We have a clear 3-wave move down in wave B, which punched to a new low. And now we have an extension above the wave A high again. So at this point, this looks like a textbook expanded flat. You can count that easily as 3 waves up. We've got a little correction in the middle here. This is, for the life of me, that's 3 waves down. I don't want to discount my life here, but for all intents and purposes, that's a 3-wave correction down to a new low, and now we've got a nice sharp move up, most likely in 5 waves, to a new high above wave A. So we're still holding at a lower high, and we've got an expanded flat. To me, that spells downside again next week. What should I say in the short term? If this is the case, then we should see a 1-2 pattern again probably by Monday evening. A nice spike lower. Let's say we push back to the low 32s again, and then we get a corrective lower high in wave 2. So I think in my book we have odds on for a 3rd wave decline next week. We have hit the 50% retracement. We actually came quite close this afternoon to a 62% retracement of wave 1. There's still a few more hours trade left in it. If we begin to sell quite sharply this evening, that again would point towards a 3rd wave decline imminent. I would watch out on this one because sentiment is there, pattern is there, the internals are there. We have shifts in the bond, the bond structure, the yield curve of the bond structure, or the bond yield structure. It's the large pieces of the puzzle are all in place. Short term, we haven't got there yet. We haven't had that short term cycle turnover yet. But maybe this is it. And I would watch out for next week. I would, if I were you. But anyway, I digress. If this is a 1-2 pattern in place off the high, we've got a lower high. We've got 5 waves down. We've got an expanded flat wave 2 to a lower high. Let's look for wave 3 next week. I think I'll just keep it simple on that. All right, move on. Gold. The 4-hour count in gold. I'm still looking for that final low in wave C in gold. You can see we've got a B wave running flat here, and maybe an ending diagonal, but I don't favor the ending diagonal idea just yet. Even so, we'd probably still get another punch to the downside into I'm looking at the 1650 area for wave C to complete. Get rid of these things here. Okay. I don't think the C wave is complete yet. I think we have a 4th wave correction complete, and we're heading lower into a 5th wave. Let's see how that plays out next week. We're looking a bit weaker this evening. My phone is buzzing. We're looking a bit weaker this evening, and the trade over the last couple of days has been pretty corrective and sideways. So I think we'll continue with the downtrend at the moment, and I'm eyeing a low between 1600 and 1650. And if we look at the previous structure here, we have a second wave at 1600. You can see that at the arrow there. We have a wave 1 high at 1648. We have this long-term trend channel here that comes in at about 1650. I think we're very close to completing this correction in gold, and that much I think is pretty solid in my bones. It's the complete opposite, flip side picture in gold in terms of sentiment and in terms of internals in the market. In terms of say the future positioning as well, it's the complete flip side as stock market, meaning people have completely sold out in gold right now. There's not much left to go on this one, and sentiment is completely bearish. So, I quite like these points in the market. I think we actually hit quite a similar point very quickly back at this previous 4th wave here in early 2020, and we headed, pretty much vertically higher off that. So I'd be looking for a similar thing to happen on this turn as well. It'll be a 5th wave up. It'll be a pretty vertical move, and I think we'll push towards 2,500, maybe even up as high as 3,000. It'll take a while, but I think we're approaching a very significant low in gold now. Here's the 4-hour count. Again, it's either an ending diagonal or a straight 5-wave pattern. I like the straight 5 waves because the initial decline was in 5 waves. Okay, so let's get the hourly count. Pull down that label here. Okay, we have 3 waves up in wave 4. I was looking for that 3-wave pattern to complete. We basically touched the upper trend channel line, and we collapsed in a very impulsive manner off that wave 4 high. So I'm counting a wave 1, 2, possible 1, 2 again into this evening's highs. So we're looking at the possibility of, again, a third of wave 5 towards next week. And this wave 3 should bring us down back into the 1600 level again, back into the 1600 area or 1600 handle. Down below, I'd say at least the previous low at 1676. I'd say probably head towards the 1650 level in wave 3 in blue. And when we start getting that, the panic signals will be full blown in gold, and it'll be, I think, time to start looking for a bottom. And the bottom could come quickly. This final decline in wave 5 could come quickly. and we could see a pretty significant bottom form quite quickly in gold. So a little more downside. We're not just there yet in my mind, but things are looking, I think, longer term very bright. Excuse the pun. Crude oil, we've come down nicely this week. It looks like we've got a 1-2 pattern pretty solidly underway right now, and it does spell the end for the recent bull market in crude. That's the 4-hour count there. Then into the hourly count, we've got, if you count me here, we've got wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wave 1 done. A, B, and C. We were looking for a higher low to punch in last night. That happened. We were looking for a rally today to come along. That has happened. We've almost hit the previous wave A high, just about within a smidge. We're approaching again the previous 4th wave high. That'll be about $62. So I think we see a top form in around 62, a 3-wave upward zigzag correction, and then we head down into wave 3. So I think early next week we will see a decline into wave 3. So long, as this pattern holds, and I think it will now. I think it's at a significant enough degree to be, let's say, binding this time. Okay, move on. The S&P is the 4-hour count. The count actually in the action in the S&P has been a little bit more subdued than the Dow of late. I think we've still got, we're hanging in the balance in terms of the larger pattern. I think I've gone over that in the previous, let's say, the count in the Dow. We have 3 waves up complete in a 5th wave, so we've got the base form of an angle diagonal. You can still do the same thing. You could still go wave 3, wave 4. Maybe we had a 1 and 2 into this more significant correction here. So we could have a wave 1, 2, 3 waves up in 3, 3 waves down in 4, and then we're tracing another 3 waves up in 5. Yet to be decided. Maybe I'll leave that in position actually, because it might be worth keeping. Okay, a candidate for wave 5 in place right now. Let's see if we get a rollover next week. Obviously, the most significant low is the previous low of this internal. Maybe it's in the main count. It's labeled as B wave. And this alternate count here, you could label it as wave 4. We've got 2 spike lows here created in early February and early March. So we've got cycle rise, cycle fall, cycle rise. Let's say we've got a cycle fall again back into that band of support between 37.20, let's say, and 36.60. If we break down through that, then I think this market is done. Let's get to the short-term chart here. Here's the hourly count. We've got a candidate for wave 1 and wave 2 in place in the alternate count. We might have a running flat already complete. Let's say that's be the alternate wave 2. We haven't broken to a new high just yet, so it's got that much going for it. We've got 5 waves down, 3 waves up. So that is a candidate for wave 1 and 2. This could be a wedge. If you were to look at it in terms of the bearish viewpoint, this could be viewed as a wedge, a leading wedge here. So that could be wave 1 and 2 at a lower degree. I'm not quite there on that one, to be honest. For the moment, I think this could be a running flat. I think it's quite feasible that this is a running flat because we've got 3 waves up, possible 3 waves down, and then maybe a 5-wave pattern up into today's high. Again, if the selling takes over this evening, we've still got a couple of more hours of viable trading. If the selling takes over this evening, then we have a candidate for a third wave down in play. Let's see if we still have kind of eluded this triangle low here at 38.35. So for the moment, that's going to be the most significant level in terms of the previous wave structure. So next week, let's see if we can get a third wave down. I'll leave it at that one. We're following it day by day anyway, so let's see if we can get this third wave underway. Okay, so silver 4 hour. I am looking at, again, I don't think we're done here on this C wave. We did push to a new low for the month this week. So, or was it did we? Not quite a low for the month, but actually, yes, it was a low for the month. A new low this month. We broke below that 2480 level that we were looking at as a wave 1. So this could be wave 1, 2, and then we're starting in a third wave down. We haven't had any acceleration lower yet, but that doesn't mean it ain't going to come. I think it's in silver. We're probably standing at a pretty dangerous point, especially if gold breaks next week. If we get a push back down into the 1600 handle next week in gold, I think silver will fall pretty precipitately after that. But it will be falling towards a very bullish low. So once we get a break of that previous A wave low here at 2165, then it's time to start looking positively towards silver again. For the moment, I don't think we're there. I think we need 5 waves down in a C wave, and we're not there yet. Let's get into the hourly count. Here you can see the wave 1 and 2 in red, wave 1 and 2 in green, and then wave 1 and 2 underway in gray. Not quite sure if we're there yet in wave 2, but it does suggest that we get an acceleration lower into wave 3 of 3 next week. And that'll be pretty interesting for the silver market. What it says about the larger market may be also even more interesting. It might be one of those sell-all type of scenarios next week again. If that is the case, you should get out of the way of that one. Anyway, if this is the third wave down, then we should head into a part of a third next week, and we should see this second wave, a lower high. I'd like to see this trend channel again hold in red here. Any sort of a second wave correction up into that trend channel line again should give way to an acceleration lower in wave 3. And again, I'm looking towards the low 20s, maybe a break of 20 itself to complete this large C wave, and then we look towards a third wave up. So that'll be wave C of 2 complete. If we get to the 4 hour count here, that'll be wave C of 2 complete, and then we head higher up into a longer term wave 3, which will be a powerful wave, I think, and one worth riding. I don't think we're there yet. I think this week's action has gone a long way to confirming that by the break of the previous low. We haven't had confirmation of a third wave yet, but I think we're almost there. So let's watch out on that one. Okay. I'm going to keep it short because I've done a couple of videos this week already, and you're probably sick of seeing my face. So until tonight's update, thank you all you subscribers, and thank you everybody who watches this video. God bless you all. We will see you next week, and be good, look to God, and we'll see you on the flip side. And yes, website subscribers, I'll be back this evening, and we'll round up the day. Let's see if we can actually get a little bit of selling into the close this evening. I think that'd be very interesting. And until then, good luck and God bless. Bye-bye.